I think that architecture isn't just about fine design, it's about how we live and how we surround ourselves with the buildings and the things in the buildings. Lloyd Wright gave a very wonderful example of how organic architecture and living in spaces that are calming, that are inspirational, can help each and every one of us in how we live day to day.
The Martin House has the opportunity to reach out to the world just as contemporary music does, just as contemporary art does, and just as contemporary and changing architecture does.
The house harkens back to a time when Buffalo was at its height. And I do think that understanding where we were can help us get a vision of where we could be.
Western New York has the second finest collection of legacy architecture in the country, only to Chicago. Of course, Lloyd Wright, with his 5 buildings here, certainly made a massive contribution. The zenith of our culture is all captured in these extraordinary works of art. Most people don't know this, but the whole Martin House process started in 1980 when my husband first came to Buffalo. He moved here to take over as publisher and president of the Buffalo News, and he was looking for an apartment. His real estate agent showed him the gardener's cottage. That was his first introduction to the actual entire campus. Most people don't know that it was actually for rent at the time. He didn't take it as an apartment, but that was Stan's first aha moment. If we can purchase the Barton House, it would be the first step towards creating the entire campus. So he went to 2 dear friends, Bob and Mindy Rich, Bob and Elizabeth Wilmers, and said, the Barton House is for sale. It's for $330,000. If we each put in $110,000, we can secure this building, and that would be our first step. That's how he kind of started the process of spearheading the entire new board and Troika and all of the wonderful people and institutions that assisted in making this campus what it is today.
The evolution of the Martin House from the start of the restoration effort in the early 1990s is really quite spectacular. It's taken an enormous amount of human and financial capital to bring back all the buildings on the estate.
I never appreciated how much landscape architecture could do to enhance the beauty of a site. I love the cascading flowers that flow out of the pots that are around this campus.
One of my absolute favorite spaces in the Martin House is the fireplace. It is a mosaic of many different patterns and colors and people that came together, and they create that literal center of the project, that heartwarming moment of joy and inspiration when you see the Martin House.
I have this really strong attraction to the fireplace. It took years to find the right person who could replicate the tiles from the fireplace. Every time I walk in and I see the fireplace, first of all, I think of Ted Lowney, the renovation architect for a number of years, who left us way too early. And I think about the work that he did and others did to make sure that we got it right. Everything that would honor the Martin family. We did not spare any time or expense to make this an accurate rendering of what was here when the house was built.
What you're looking at are extraordinary materials sourced from extraordinary places. We can't go to Home Depot. We can't go to Lowe's. There's no buying bricks. There's no buying aluminum here. Serious engineers come in and must restore it to its National Historic Landmark status. Unfortunately, those things aren't inexpensive. It's all the more reason why an appropriately funded endowment is so critical to maintaining this extraordinary structure in the manner it was intended all those years ago.
We've done the heavy lifting of raising the money to restore and rebuild the buildings to construct a state-of-the-art visitor center. But Endowment is that wonderful extra piece of support from the community that has believed in this project all along.
We have to keep all the hard work that's been done functioning at its best. It takes a lot to keep this going.
One of the things we hope that will continue is that those who've been investors in this project, who've believed in this project, will continue to support the endowment, and new friends will join with us. We are very fortunate that we've had a happy partnership of leadership in this project for really entering 4 decades. A phenomenally dedicated staff, a phenomenally generous donor group, both private and public sector. I think we've had a wonderful relationship with the neighborhood, and I also think we've had really collaborative community partners. We didn't want to just raise $53 million to build a house. We wanted to raise money to establish an institution that could be a partner with others. We think about some long-standing people who really were here for the full journey. Bob Cressy and Sheldon Burlow on our board. Keith Stolzenberg, who was the president of our board. Bob Wilmers himself. Howard Zemsky was an incredible leader who accepted Stan's philanthropic torch, but also sustained a connection with New York State. And Judy Lipsey and I both lost our spouses who were proud of this project. And so I think Judy and I are particularly happy that in Connie's and Stan's memory that this project has been successful and will continue to be. This is an icon that can make Buffalo extremely proud in reaching out to the world.
Investing in the Martin House shows what we value in our community. This is an institution that represents so many good things about architecture and design and community effort and economic impact. I think people give to the Martin House because they believe in the power of its future, not just its past.
I think Stan's perspective on the campus today is that we're not finished. I know everybody says we're finished and everybody walks around looking at all these beautiful buildings and this entire campus, but he would say, well, we're not done yet. Because just like all of this campus was done in phases, this endowment campaign that we're undertaking is the last phase. It's the goal line. We're not at the goal line yet. We need to get to the goal line. And so just because you see this beautiful campus in its completed form doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. Frank Lloyd Wright gave this legacy to Western New York, but all of the people and institutions that allowed it to be restored in this fashion, whether they worked on it physically or whether they gave to the campaign, are the people who are responsible for giving this legacy back to Western New York. It's their legacy. It's our legacy. We can't let everything we've accomplished slip through our fingers as it had 100 years ago. People can still be involved in that legacy by contributing to this endowment campaign, which is going to keep this campus historically, architecturally, culturally in perpetuity. What could be better than being a donor to that extraordinary legacy? It speaks to our own humanity, doesn't it, to be involved in something as extraordinary as this.